Hi, my name is Diksha. Welcome to my LifePage. Today we are going to talk about teaching and learning. But before that, I would like to introduce myself. So I did my schooling from Seven Oaks School in Dehradun. Post that, I did my graduation from Punjab University. And after that, I worked in a startup for 6 months called Autonomy, which is basically an aggregator model for all kinds of bookings. Post that, I joined the fellowship called Teach for India. It's a 2-year long. Basically, as per my fellowship experience, I learned more than I taught. And I think teaching is a continuous process, and you get to learn a lot from your students because there are 36 brave minds coming across, sharing their perspectives. And every time you teach a new topic, you get to learn from their perspectives. Now I want to... First point is current affairs. You should be a little bit aware of what's going on currently in the country and even outside the country, the current scenario. So in Teach for India, just in case you're taking up a secondary grade, you will have to excel in like one particular subject, and you should have that. If you want to take up math or you want to take up science, you will be given a choice and you will be assessed on that. But for primary grades, you will be taking up all the subjects. So you should have basic knowledge of all the subjects. And you should definitely be aware of the stats about the present scenario of the country and across the world, because we are backed by Teach for All, which is an international organization. And there is Teach for America, there is Teach for Singapore, and other organizations as well, like Teach for India. You should be definitely aware of what's going on in the education space, and how can we bring in innovation, technology in classrooms, and improve the present scenario of the education in our country. Child psychology, you will deal with a lot of issues with children. Like for elementary grades, it's more of understanding kids' perspective. But for secondary grades, when they move to adolescence, there are a lot of problems that you're gonna face, and you'll have to deal with it. So yeah, child psychology is something that is needed. You need to understand their perspective as well. Now let me tell you the skills needed for teaching and learning. First is autonomy. So one thing that I love about the fellowship is that your classroom is your world. You can do anything as long as it is benefiting the community, the kids. Kids are always at the center, of course, but you can experiment a lot. You can come up with new projects. Like I integrated arts in the curriculum, and it worked wonderfully for my kids. My kids were not speaking at all when I joined, and suddenly I see, like, after a span of 3 months, they're speaking a lot, and that's because I integrated arts in the curriculum, and it worked really well for my kids. So even your relationship with your manager is pretty feedback oriented. They are going to give you feedback on the kind of things you're doing, and you come to a mutual agreement with them. It's never like the culture at TFI is really cool. People are really loving, and that pushes you a lot. That takes you on. First one is out of your comfort zone. You're thrown into an environment where you have no clue. Like, you're coming out straight out of AC room offices, and you're being given a classroom. Like, at least I was given a classroom which did not have a fan. So then again, it becomes a problem, and you try and solve it. And you wouldn't do it by your own self. You are going to convince the principal, okay, we need to get it fixed. The principal won't be convinced, and then you're going to try different methods to convince her. And yeah, so this is just one part of it. But yeah, there are a lot of challenges. There are a lot of, you are in a community where it's difficult to walk into during rainy seasons, where so you have to wake up really early in the morning, be in your school by 7:30, design assemblies, because if you're really looking forward for your kids to be leaders, you would like them to take ownership and take up assemblies, lead the assemblies. Post that, you have your regular classes, where at times there will be a lot of breakdowns in terms of anytime your principal will call you up for the admin work. Anytime your class teacher would be like, okay, today I want to teach, and you need to be out. But then that is the relationship building that you do in your fellowship. You need to convince your class teacher that you're really impacting the class, and you need a certain number of, like in my case, I could really convince my class teacher, and she's been very supportive. Initially she wasn't, but now she is. And because she is mostly busy for the admin work, she also likes me being in the class. Post that, I go to the learning center and I teach the kids there, because we have just 3.5 hours of teaching time in school. Then I come back home, I plan for my next day, I plan for the projects that we are doing. And yeah, I mean, like in your fellowship, you're constantly thinking about the kids, and that kind of becomes rooted. And that's not like something that makes you a very different person in your, like, your life is not going to be affected in any way. Your friends are going to be just that. I mean, the way you would approach things would be a little different. And yeah, you become a little more patient in your life. I hope I've given you a balanced view on teaching and learning. Thank you.